So I've just dumped all of the battle pass points that I had collected up to this point, and I want to explain why in hopes that it helps a bunch of other people. Now, let's go ahead and take a look here. You can see that I've just logged in on a Monday, and I have 0 points so far. I've literally just logged in and dumped my battle pass points. This was something that I planned to do. And you'll see that I have a whole bunch of rewards available. So if we look at the Paragon level and the server Paragon level, now it's 820. This goes up by 10 per week, which happens on Monday now. It used to go up by 2 per day. And you'll see that I'm already Paragon level 826. I'm already over the server Paragon. I was actually a little bit over it before dumping the points as well. And I suffer a 50% experience reduction, okay? And the higher level I get, the more dramatic this will be. It'll continue to go down. So why am I front loading all the experience that I'm getting in the week? Well, it has to do with the way that legendary items now roll. The combat rating on the item has the potential to increase by 2 per Paragon level of your character. So what I want to do is get as high level as possible for this week, farm, and hope that I get some upgrades. In fact, I could get them earlier in the week by being higher level. So that's kind of the plan here. Now, as the week goes on, my experience is going to go down and down, meaning that I'll gain less levels if I gain any at all. So the potential here is really to just front load everything, get some upgrades. I'm hoping to gain 150 combat rating this week. That'll get me the next goal and break a threshold for me. And this tip or strategy is actually more valuable the lower resonance you are, because combat rating is actually more important for players who don't have the quality 5-star gems, right? They have the lower combat rating on the gem in each of these legendary gem slots, which has been increased. So the more combat rating you have and the more access you have to it, the better off you are. So use this tip, use this strategy, not just this week. This will apply to any week. And you can use this as a way to kind of boost the strength of your character and be more efficient with your time. So what do you do if you're one of these players that is super active and you've got something in the likes of, say, Paragon level 830 when the Monday comes around with server Paragon 820? In fact, these players are already high enough level to be at next week's server Paragon for experience reductions. Well, there's a little bit of strategy here if you want to be efficient with your time too. What I'm going to do personally is I'm going to farm experience, open world, legendary items, that kind of thing, up until Paragon level 830. And at that point during this week, I'm then going to switch over to dungeons. So I can save these collection rewards that I have for set items up to 3 days. So I'm hoping to get there by, say, Wednesday. And then I'll still have all of these rewards available. And I'll start spamming dungeons because I'm going to be gaining less and less levels as the week goes on. And the required experience goes up because of that reduction. So it makes sense to be efficient with my time. I look for legendaries early in the week. I look for set items later in the week. So I hope that all of this makes sense to everybody. Great tip for anybody that's trying to just maximize their time in game. Now I have another tip, and this has to do with these new legendary slots that you get for the main hand and offhand. You can see that the gear ranks, I have an 18 here and a 19. Now I have moved these, just had to do with the stats on the weapons, and I didn't transfer the ranks. It doesn't matter where they are, but if you notice that and were wondering why, that's what occurred there. So these ones still require old materials, and what a lot of people don't realize is that in the first tab of the hilts vendor all the way at the bottom, you can actually get some of these old materials for a pretty good value. Now you get 50 for 100 hilts, 5 enchanted dust for 75 hilts, and those are still pretty good values. And there's 15 quantities of these that you can buy per each, so this gives you a really good chunk, 750 scrap and 75 enchanted dust that you can just get instantly, and it isn't outrageous. Depending on what you do with your hilts, you may have a whole bunch saved. In fact, I really don't do very much with mine at all. I could go through and show you if you're interested. But the general idea here is I only buy what's super valuable. So at this point, I'm buying a Cycle's Turn chest. I did get the Legendary Crest, which I typically do not. However, I have not been running Eternal Crests very much at all. So that was the reason why I picked this up, just for some gem power for the new slots that we got in the update. So I felt that there was some value there. Same could be said if you really wanted to stretch one gem power here. Telluric Pearl I buy. The normal gems I buy, the purification shards. Now these had their value increase with the update as well. We're seeing more and more legendary items drop. You're probably cycling through items more frequently than before, which means that you're potentially re-rolling curses more often, which means that the number of purification shards you have is really important. A lot of people are actually running out of these. Aspirant keys just to level up your Ibans, the charms to be able to sell or upgrade your own charms, materials, which I mentioned. Now in the limited time, a lot of these will vary depending on the refresh and so forth, but I always go for these materials as well. Super cheap, good value, and especially when you're looking for materials, You can start to buy these, and then when you get closer to capping out your gear, if you're able to do so, you can start backing off from this and then just cap from farming more. So that's what I spend with mine, and I always pretty much have an abundance. As you can see, I'm in no jeopardy of running out. I have not been in Immortal since we've server transferred, so I'm not getting the hilts from there, okay? I'm getting these hilts from being a shadow. So this is available to the vast majority of players, and I hope that these tips help you. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch, and have a great day.